Did you get caught self-loving by your mom?
Awkward. It is awkward.
Did you do something that got you fired from your job?
I just get stupider.
It's fun being stupid.
Don't hide this in vain. Let us laugh at your pain. Call 600-KFMA right away.
I promise we won't embarrass you.
Because Beef Vegan presents F My Life. F My Life. F My Life.
Yes, it's time for another edition of F My Life. These are unfortunate situations. Email to me at beefvegan@kfma.com, subject line FML. But of course, if you have an F My Life you care to share on the air, you can give us a call right now at 600-KFMA at 600-5362. And Weirdo and I will weigh in on your F My Life situation. And in true Weirdo fashion, we have a majority of female F My Lives today.
Yeah.
So coincidentally enough, but let's start off with Erica's email. She said, this week my mother-in-law complained to me about the cost of getting old. She then spent an hour showing me her river cruise vacation photos from several countries.
Okay.
All right, F My Life for Erica.
It sounds like a big baby.
Yeah.
Sounds like she wasted about 30 seconds of your time.
Yeah.
If anything, good for you. You've now learned a lesson. Save your money to get old.
Yeah. Yeah. And just go on river cruises. I mean, yeah, sure. Things are expensive, but yeah, have a good time. All right. No, I totally got lost in thought. All right. Here's our only dude F My Life email today, sent to me by Charlie. He said, yesterday I used the last of my deodorant for a business meeting on Zoom.
But not deodorant to be by yourself.
Yes. Is that enough My Life?
No.
Yeah, go out and get some more deodorant. But I think that's funny, though. You know, you do everything. You're like, oh, got a meeting. I got a very important meeting.
Right.
And then you just sit down in your kitchen. You're like, damn it.
Yeah.
I didn't even need to wear pants for this. All right. Next email sent to me by Renee at beefvegan@kfma.com. This one is very saucy or spicy. Something. One of those adjectives. Last weekend, feeling attractive, I got dressed up and took myself to a trendy bar to enjoy some cocktails. A muscular, handsome man approached me and we began to flirt. He recommended that we get a hotel room, which we did. And after we had the most amazing sex of my life, he started to tell me his price. He was an escort.
Oh.
F My Life for Renee.
100%.
I'll say this, and it isn't F My Life 100% as well, Renee, but you know what? It's not your bad. It's his bad. These whores need to be upfront with their prices.
Yes.
You know, so this dude should have been like, hey, yeah, if you want to take it to the next level, it's going to be this, this, and this. He can't do it and then get his rocks off as well, even though he was good. And then say, oh, by the way, it's going to be this much.
By the way, leave this much on the nightstand.
Right.
God.
You know, it's got to be an upfront thing. And after the point, you had the most amazing sex of your life, and now you're probably addicted to male prostitutes. That's the bad news, right? But, you know, actually, I totally lost my train of thought now. You're addicted to male prostitutes. Like, save up your money, Renee.
Yeah.
But F your life. All right. Next email sent to me by Daryl. She said, today my boyfriend broke up with me right after I turned down an amazing job opportunity in another location just so I could be with him.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's an F My Life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big time. But it's not more of an F My Life than this one, sent to me by Katrina. As she said, on Monday, I went to a gynecology appointment to find out that my IUD had apparently fallen out without me knowing. What tipped me off? My pregnancy test.
Oh, no. Oh, that's awful.
It is awful. And for that, which I don't do often, I need to, here we go. Kill some time. Here it is. F your life, Katrina. Good luck. All right. And congratulations at the same time.
Yeah, if it's a girl, name it Marina.
All right. I do have a 4-pack of tickets to give away for your Tucson Roadrunners. So let's do that right now. Caller number 10, 600-KFMA, 600-5362. You could use those tickets for tonight's game or tomorrow's regular season ending game on Saturday night, which we'll have tons of giveaways for. So call now. Good luck. All right, welcome to the podcast broadcast. Sorry, I'm fixing my audio. Please welcome in studio. We got late to the party, Robert and Vanessa. And good morning, guys. Welcome.
Hello there. Happy to be here.
Yes.
I should have said hello there. Hello there.
Is that the catchphrase?
Yeah.
Now we're talking with Robert and Vanessa. They just watched Rocky Horror Picture Show for the very first time, and they did a reaction video on that to their page. And I asked them if they performed at the Loft, but you said you were going to go watch the doubleheader at the Loft?
Yeah, so they're doing a double header at the Loft this Saturday for Rocky Horror Picture Show and Clue. So it's a Tim Curry double feature, and we've never seen it in any way, shape, or form. Rocky Horror, that is. We've seen Clue a million times.
Right.
But yeah, like everybody was saying, obviously you have to go to the live show. And they've been doing it for ages at the Loft. And so it's perfect timing. We did not plan it to be this way, but we're going to go watch it Saturday.
Well, here's the challenge, though. This is because seeing it live in front of people who see it a million times, it's all about the call and response and knowing what to say during the right time. So have you done your homework on that? You know what to shout at the screen, because if not, you're going to try to mumble through it.
Well, I feel like a bunch of people in our comment section are like, this is what we bring to the showings. This is what we say. So hopefully maybe we can pick up on some of those cues. But I feel like with our first time, we'll probably miss some.
Yeah.
But then like repeat viewings, then we can get into it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm pretty sure you could get a cheat sheet, right, from online.
Yeah.
That almost timed it down. And I would, because first off, you don't want to be the one person that's just like late where everyone shouts out.
Right.
Although it's an example. I've done this once.
Although it's in our name, though, to be late.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
Right. I mean, damn it, Janet. I mean, that's pretty classic.
Right.
Yeah.
So they say, damn it, Janet. And then all of a sudden they hear you guys in the background. Yeah, Janet.
Yeah, knock it off, Janet. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. So
Darn.
Yeah, everyone's been very supportive. Like we've been doing reactions for a while, but I'll tell you the Rocky Horror Picture Show reaction that we did, because we premiered it on our YouTube channel, so you get to watch it with everybody live when it drops.
Yeah.
And then after that, you can go back and rewatch it. But everybody, like, this was the most engagement, I would say, in the comment section. And everybody has been coming out and just loving this movie, supporting this movie, giving us tips and tricks on the certain callbacks. But of course, everything changes, I guess, from theater to theater. So certain people create different kind of callbacks and yelling at the screen. So we're interested to see what that's all about.
right. Yeah. Now, when you did this live stream, live debut of doing it, I noticed you're popping in a scene for like a split second, popping it out. Is that so you don't get flagged and taken down?
Absolutely. So essentially what it comes down to is tricking the algorithm, because the algorithm for YouTube is pretty clever, especially when it comes to audio. So if you're going to be putting anything up, it's going to flag it. It's going to catch it and it's going to block it, or it'll claim it, which 9 times out of 10, you would get claimed depending on the studio. And if you get claimed, that's okay. You still get to have your product out there. People still get to see it.
Right.
And you still get to express yourself and give your reaction to whatever it is that you're watching. But the studio gets to make all the money off of the video.
Right. Yeah. Yep. I've seen it. I mean, it's surprising to me to find out when I'm flagged on certain things, because I'll go through my like studio and be like, oh, this one got flagged. And then it's periodically, right? I'll just put something for a split second, or it'll just pick up some audio in the background, right?
Yeah.
And then flag me, but that's all right. It doesn't affect my
you got to always
lack of money.
you got to always be, aware of the audio in the background, because you could just be streaming. Like I know you guys go on location, all around town, and sometimes the radio will be blasting in the background over the speakers. Hopefully it's KFMA, and you end up catching a whiff of that song, and next thing you know, your stream crashes because it got blocked. Which typically it's the music that gets you, and it's hard doing reactions to musicals because the whole thing is music. But we tried our best, especially in the edit, to still give you the fun of the music without giving you the entire full length of the song. We do provide that though on our Patreon for anybody that is a member.
Oh, and they can watch privately.
Yeah, exactly. But we follow the copyright. You're not getting the movie. You are queuing up your copy of the movie just to a 2-hour long shot of us sitting at a computer laughing at nothing. So, there's ways around it.
That's funny. Yeah. Have you ever been flagged for giving misinformation? Because this recently happened to me as well, and I had to dispute it. And won, because my response back was like, yeah, we're like a satire show who don't take anything seriously and with no agenda whatsoever. So please reconsider. I don't want to be lumped in with fake news. So yeah, have you had that?
No.
No.
I don't think so. No, I haven't seen anything that came through.
All
I
right.
would say
Just partly because we're all, it's mostly critique and I bet if we were doing something a little bit more like sketch comedy or something, there's boundaries that they'd probably hate for us to cross. But and also it comes down to your audience, because if your audience is complaining, there are ways for them to kind of rat you out when it comes to certain aspects.
Yeah, I'm looking at you, Todd.
Gerald. But we have a peer. We call him a peer because he does exactly what we do. But his name's Mr. Video. He's a lot of fun. Even we're fans of other reactors, but Mr. Video, he does a lot of movie watch-alongs, music videos. So if you want to kind of get a taste of how to do the music videos, Mr. Video did them he has multiple channels. But Mr. Video likes to partake in the herbal substances while he's watching his movies.
Like our friend Hot Rock.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all well and good. But the thing is that like he does say what he's doing when he does it, versus like for a while he would just say, oh, it's a cigarette. It's a rolled cigarette. But he would, partake a little bit more on the fun stuff. And people ratted him out. He got ratted out, and YouTube actually stepped up and said, you have to take every single video down that has that in it.
Why?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we know he lives in a place where it's legal, and it's legal fairly across the country, but for the country, it's still not considered legal.
That's crazy because, that's exactly a Hot Rock show each and every Wednesday. They get high, crazy high, just nothing but smoking, eating edibles through 2 hours and watching cartoons, which is actually, it's pretty funny.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's hard to partake, I was like, you could try to smoke along with them, but you're out in like 15 minutes. Like, I don't know. Rock 102.1 KFMA. We're hanging out here with Robert and Vanessa from Late to the Party, the YouTube channel, which has tons of subscribers, about 150,000 subscribers. They've been reacting to videos since before it became popular, starting back in 2015 again, Robert?
2015.
Yes.
Yeah, and just blowing it up. So we're going to be reacting and talking about these upcoming movie releases that are happening this weekend. Some trailers dropped, big buzz and all that on the podcast broadcast and throughout the air for this hour. But we got your top 5 coming up next, including an update of a headline that we shared in our top 5 just 2 days ago. And we'll do that after the latest from Shinedown. It's Dead Don't Die on Rock 102.1 KFMA. All right, clear. All right, so that was FM side. Now we're back on the podcast side.
Perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
Now you can say all the words.
Yeah. And it's good. Hey, since you guys are professional reactors, I got some headlines to share and we'll see your reactions.
All right.
Yeah. So I got the top 5. And the first one is just a follow-up of it's actually serious news and kind of crazy. But as I was sharing with our streamers, the agenda of certain websites, as we know, like Fox News, CNN, what side of the fence they're on. And then websites like Daily Mail and whatnot, when stories come out, you can kind of see, especially at the beginning, before there's any details of said like a crime or any kind of scenario, you'll kind of see agendas kind of be forced in the headline to push a narrative. And it was something that I pointed out from this Cash App founder, Bob Lee. Did you hear about this guy?
Yeah, didn't he get stabbed and passed?
He got stabbed to death in San Francisco. Now, like a year or two ago, when with the great exodus of Silicon Valley, he was one of those people who was like, you know what, I'm out of here. I think he moved to Florida. He's, billionaire, multimillionaire, super rich and successful. He was done with San Francisco. I guess he wasn't agreeing with certain things of the city, or he just wanted out. And that happens. And he was coming back and visiting. And then during that time, around 2 a.m, he got stabbed in a hotel lobby and died.
Brutal.
And now, super tragic, right? Now, a lot of the headlines immediately are like, Cash App founder Bob Lee stabbed to death in woke ass broken city, San Francisco, stuff like that. So they're kind of pushing the the politics of the city, saying the city is out of control because of the policies that the Democratic led parties in that city have made. And I knew right off the bat that was bullshit. It was like, because randomly, and if you've been to San Francisco recently, which I have, it's actually very beautiful. I mean, yeah, there's always been a homeless situation, but in places I was walking around were no worse, not even comparably close to just Grant and fucking I-10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, what are you guys talking about? I'm like, yeah, well, we're a democratic city too, but guess what? The homeless crisis is happening everywhere. So like I was telling the streamers, I'm like, this is bullshit. They're trying to push this on, the leadership there and saying the city's completely out of control, but people don't normally get randomly murdered. It's a very rare occasion. Usually there is a motive. And in this situation, there 100% was a motive. And what happened was it was actually a fellow Silicon Valley executive. He was 38 years old. Dude was named Nima. And he was out partying with Bob Lee. They know each other. So, and we'll find out more about their actual relationship. But as they're partying, they're on their way back to the hotel. They get into an argument in the car. That argument spilled out into the streets and then into the lobby where Nima stabbed him to death. So it wasn't a random act. It wasn't a sense of just the city out of control. It was just like everything else, where it was a guy knew another guy, and then one of the guys got so mad that he killed the other guy. And we're talking about the Cash App CEO, Bob Lee, on Rock 102.1 KFMA as part of your top 5. So that's just an update on that. And then just a lesson to everybody out there who are listening and watching. It's especially when breaking news stories start to happen, be careful of the headlines and the maybe secret agenda or narrative that whoever's putting that story out is pushing, because they will try to manipulate you to have a knee-jerk reaction, and it's part of the clickbait game. So,
especially when it comes to the headlines. I mean, you see it on YouTube all the time. They'll go ahead and fluff up the title just to try and get you to click. And it is unfortunately kind of the name of the game. They're going to sensationalize aspects of the story to try and get you to buy into the whole product without even having to read it. They're just going to get you to check the title and move on from there.
Right. Now, Robert, have you ever been caught or called out on creating a clickbait title? I mean, you guys started back in the day, and I have too. What was your example where they're just like, you son of a bitch, you clickbaited me?
I mean, I really haven't noted. We try and keep things organic and honest. So for the most part,
but you've been doing it now. It's 2003. You guys started in 2016. You got 150,000 subscribers now. So, you guys have learned and don't need to resort to those kind of tricks. But when you're starting, I'm sure you're just like, oh, this is how you do this. And you should put a clickbait by a title until you start getting called out.
I think it's more so our faces
it's a thumbnail.
in the thumbnail and the picture that we use as the thumbnail for what we're reacting to.
Yeah.
Sometimes, a lot of times at the beginning too, we would put something that could possibly be a spoiler. We're better now not to put that stuff up there.
Right.
For people to come. Because I know that if there's certain things that are happening in the video that that people are wanting to see, then you put that in the forefront, and then that's get people to click. But
okay,
we try not to do that.
Yeah. So, but with your photos, you misrepresent the way that you're going to react. Because I know, most of your thumbnails are that in the moment, excited reaction, oh my god,
exactly.
And then they watch it and be like, you guys didn't say oh my god once in these 15 minutes.
No, sure. If there is a video that we do film, and let's say that there isn't any big pop or a reaction, we may pull a thumbnail from the part where we're just talking, where it looks like our mouth is open and it looks like we're exclaiming in excitement, but in reality, we're talking. It's in the video, so we're honest, but it's you're making more context out of it than it actually is.
I feel like you're more honest than most people on YouTube when it comes to their thumbnails and the way that they're getting people to click. And, is there a community of YouTube reactors? Because, there's a con for everything, right? There's a Comic-Con and a movie con. And so I know YouTube has all different types of get-togethers. Is there a reactor con that you guys been a part of?
There is VidCon, which does take place, I believe it's Anaheim. We haven't gone to that, and some of the other reactors do, but there's actually more of a secret community that exists amongst the reactors. We're all in a Discord. We're actually having they're calling it the Reactor Summit tomorrow. So we're meeting that midday tomorrow, and we're all going to talk about just copyright and things going on behind the scenes, Patreon, and it's tough for the world of anime reactors, which we're not in that world, but they're having a lot of troubles right now with a lot of overseas companies.
Really? Just coming in and putting their foot down and trying to take any monetization away. And
so how I talked about that Patreon where you can have your watch along but put nothing on the screen, it's just you.
Yeah.
Those companies overseas are coming after those creators and trying to take down their channels, take down their Patreons, and even get into legalities with them.
Oh, wow.
To where some of them are actually lawyering up and trying to prove that none of that copyright footage exists. They're just going after it because, again, the title says it's a watch along. So the companies overseas are believing that the footage is in there when in reality it isn't.
Wow, that's insane. Yeah, so they can't even. And again, we've talked about the benefit of these reactors and the reason why, like a company like Disney, a massive company like Disney, won't take away monetization when you are reacting to their product because they know that it's just marketing. You are doing their job for them, and it's a benefit. And so these anime companies, the way that they're reacting, that's insane. It seems counterproductive to what they might want, which is more eyeballs on their product. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, if you watch anything that has any sort of like reaction-based expression, for instance, America's funniest home videos. How many times have they turned the camera on the audience and you see everyone laughing at it? In sports, when there's a big play and they shift the camera over to everybody going crazy. Like you see those GIFs all the time when it comes to like those people at the bar and they're watching something on the screen and something happens and everybody loses their mind at the exact same time.
Professional wrestling.
Right, I
they
was
do
gonna say
that too.
WWE.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's seeing the reaction can add just as much of a punch to the moment. So Luke Skywalker walks out on screen and then everybody freaks out about it. It's a 1-2 punch that people love to see. And Disney is one of the companies that has recognized that and ended up, putting that at the forefront of the excitement for the moment, which helps, I think, the pop.
Yeah. That's amazing. Well, you know what? Let's continue this conversation, broadcast. We'll do our TMI top 5 there as well. So we got top 5 headlines of the day and more with Robert and Vanessa from Late to the Party on YouTube. Or you can keep it right here. It's Rock 1 2.1. Clear. All right. Yeah. So nice. Let's keep that moving. And you know what? And on Monday we'll talk about, I talked about reasons why men cheat. Well, and there was valid reasons. I actually have a list of reasons why women cheat. We'll do on Monday with Mari. But let's get into some of these headlines. We already talked about the Bob Lee thing, and that's depressing. I want to show you this story real quick and see what you think, because there's some residents in a California town that wants a rock sculpture removed, and it's been there for 30 years. So, I mean, at what point would you not want a rock sculpture being shown, unless it was like something where it's not sensitive to different cultures, if it's racist and talking about like a Southern statue, but no, it's this rock sculpture, right? They want this 30-year-old sculpture removed because there are some people in this California town find this offensive.
Rock hard.
Yes, because it's rock hard, because they say this is a phallic symbol. Now, this rock sculpture, I mean, yeah, you can see it's not necessarily a natural rock, but it could look like just some rocks stacked on top of each other. It's not necessarily biologically accurate,
Right.
but there are people who are willing to be offended by anything, and there's a petition going around try to get this rock hard penis statue removed.
When you said it was a statue of the Rock, I was thinking Dwayne Johnson, and then you said like 30 years. I was like, okay, it's just rocks.
It only took 30 years for it to be offensive.
Exactly.
Just know your role.
Yeah, I mean, at first, I guess it was back in 93 when it came out. I guess we were so desensitized. It was Jerry Springer, era. We had gangster rap and grunge and uncensoredness. We had Woodstock with people walking around topless and assaulting each other.
Yeah, times were definitely a little less tough.
Yeah, but I'd say if it starts with that sculpture, then anything that's penis related or even looks somewhat penisy has got to be removed. So I'm looking at you like a leaning tower of Pisa, like if it leans to the left, that's kind of phallic. There's so many different things that could be considered.
Monument.
Yeah, Washington Monument, 100%.
I mean, and more than likely, the picture was on the internet, and it was people who don't even live in the town that got offended by it.
Right.
You know what I mean? The people in the town are like, "You leave our penis statue alone."
It's true. Yeah.
Just add a couple of boulders there, and then we'll be a little bit better.
It's true. All right. So that we have that story. Moving forward, in case you missed it, there's a story going around about a mother who called police because she couldn't tell her sons apart. She wanted her twins to be fingerprinted, and that's why she called 911 to say, "Hey, can you please fingerprint my babies? Because I don't know which one's which." Now, if this sounds odd to you or crazy or absurd, it's really not. This happens with parents of twins all the time. And a lot of people came out on Reddit saying, this happened to me too. And just imagine if you got little Larry and a little Barry, right? and then you mix them up and you don't know.
Right.
You kind of dub them. I mean, at a certain point, what does it matter? You know, like once you get past 6 months, is that when you start caring? Say if they're 3 days old and you name the left one Larry and the right one Barry, and you accidentally swap them, be like, well, I guess now you're Barry.
Yeah, and that was actually something I was thinking about the other day. My husband is a twin, but he has a twin sister, so they're not identical. And I've always thought about that. I was like, oh my God, how many identical twins are out there that were originally the other one, but because they got switched back and forth, and then it was just kind of like you said, that 6 months to a year, their personalities are starting to come out. Then they like settled on, no, this is baby A and this is baby B.
Right. Baby A and B is what they call them as well.
That's what they're called in the womb, baby A and baby B.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
It's like Fred and George Weasley. Mom always mixing them up.
Oh, yeah.
I grew up with triplets. So like my friends, they were all three of them, identical triplets. And
really? Could you tell them apart?
No, not in the beginning. Not when when I first met them. Like I met them in like first grade, second grade, third grade. Like I had one in each class, and each time I thought one was the other. Like the first day, until they're like, "No, I'm actually this one." I'm like, "Oh, okay." But eventually, they started developing their own character and started dressing their own way. One became sporty, one became smarty, and then one became gay. And, you could just tell the difference between all three. But I loved all three of them.
Right.
Nice. Well, yeah, I guess that would happen. It'd be harder with triplets. All right. So speaking of thirds, a third of Americans in a new poll admit that they've shoplifted before. Okay, but most only when they were a kid.
Yep.
Now, are we all part of that 1/3 who shoplifted as a kid?
Yes.
All right, good. Statute of limitations is up on that.
Right.
What was the most daring shoplifting experience you had as a kid?
Funny enough, Spencer's Gifts. I'm so sorry at the Tucson Mall.
Yeah.
It was basically anything South Park related or lighters and stuff, and I didn't even smoke. I just wanted a cool little Zippo lighter. But yeah, it was just little things, nothing too crazy. But I believe Vanessa even got in trouble for shoplifting stuff she didn't even steal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sally's. They thought that I was stealing from them, and I didn't even steal. I was like, nope, I'm stealing from Sephora. That's where my stealing came from. Because makeup is expensive, especially when you're a kid.
Yes, absolutely. And all kids usually would get shoplifted, or young girls would get busted shoplifting makeup. Was that the biggest thing that you stole that was most exhilarating, or something else?
No, yeah, that was it. And then maybe Walmart.
She stole my heart.
I did get
Walmart. Which is a felony in 3 states.
Out.
Yeah. All right, weirdo, same question.
Yeah. No, I have a question. Where do you think I stole stuff from?
Oh, I would think, something in the mall where it's a Spencer's or a Hot Topic.
There you go.
Hot
Hot Topic. No, the probably the biggest thing from Hot Topic I managed to nick was a pair of pants.
Oh,
they get pricey. So
well, and we're thinking 2000s here. So it was the wide leg pants with like all the straps and everything. So yeah, I managed to. They didn't ask me to turn my bag in at the checkout or whatever, and I got them.
There's more metal in those pants than all of Hot Topic.
Yeah.
Yes.
So much pop.
Yeah, I was a little klepto when I was a kid and went through a lot of different phases and was really good at it. But there was one store that was behind my townhouse complex that would sell gag gifts and little prank items, which made it hell for my dad for about 6 months. I stole everything I would steal from him. I would test out on my dad. I'm talking about gum that would turn into ink and drool out, like everything that you saw in Pee-wee's Playhouse. Yeah, they had.
Nice.
Now, one time, and I still remember the whooping I got from my dad from this one item that I stole. It was, and it's so sadistic that they even had these. It was another gum package. It looked like Juicy Fruit, right? So when you pull out the stick of gum, it was actually a mouse trap.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. And my dad, he had an addictive personality, so he would chew his fingernails, and he was, such an addictive personality that he would chew those fingernails clear off. He didn't have fingernails, which is gross.
We've seen that.
Yeah, right. So one day he's stoned off his ass, and I'm like, "Hey, Dad, you want a piece of Juicy Fruit?" I'm like 10 years old, 10-year-old asshole. The fact that he survived this is a testament to our genetics, because he should have dropped dead from a heart attack many, many times over. But he pulled this Juicy Fruit out, all stoned, and then boom, mousetrap right on that thumb that had no thumbnail, and jumped out of the couch like 10 feet high, and then immediately proceeded to whoop my ass. So Yeah. But it's a phase that everyone goes through. 1/3 does seem like a small amount, like it's low. It would have to be above 50%, you would think. We're 100% here.
Right.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you're saying admittedly.
Yeah, that's true.
So that
Right.
I think that's the caveat.
Yeah, they may have just not admitted that they have stolen. Gotta be right in the way of Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. And final headline in our top 5. Oh, and actually, no, we already got to that. So the Bay Area exec who was arrested for stabbing to death the Cash App founder. So
Your way backwards.
yeah, I did walk my way backwards. So there we have that, which is good. All right, let's get into what were some of the big trailers that dropped this week.
There was
The Marvels.
yeah.
That was definitely a big one.
You know what I saw with the Marvels, and I'm glad you brought that up because, obviously remember when Captain Marvel first dropped, it got review bombed by a bunch of like incels who were so mad at Brie Larson for being Captain Marvel.
as always.
Right. And which is insane, but they're doing it again for the Marvels.
They should have just
Yes.
review bombed it because it was boring.
Yeah,
That's
you-
my take though.
I
Vanessa loves
understand
that
that.
movie.
No, I don't love it. It's
She enjoys
fine.
it.
Mm.
It's mid, as the kids say nowadays.
Right. So the trailer was made. It didn't reveal anything that would be exciting. So you think, that's just going to be a precursor to what the movie's going to be? Because
The trailer
No,
was awesome.
Oh, you did? Oh.
This trailer was awesome. Captain Marvel, in my opinion, was mid. And what they
Yeah.
needed to do, they needed to pump a little bit of character in there. A lot of the people that were complaining, and the just complaints, was that Captain Marvel is so stoic and just, doesn't really show that much emotion. And the thing is,
Personality.
yeah, they're
Mhm.
bringing him on from Miss Marvel, which if you saw the Miss Marvel series on Disney Plus, you could check out our reactions to that on our channel.
Mhm.
But she is a lively character. She is a breath of fresh air.
Mhm.
And you're going to be partnering her up with Monica Rambeau, who was in
yes.
WandaVision.
WandaVision. Check
Yep.
out our reaction to WandaVision on our channel. And they're all putting them together. And I feel like that's going to pump some life into Captain Marvel and
Yeah.
Brie Larson.
Right.
Oscar award-winning Brie Larson, by the way.
Yes.
And I think it'll help a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand the turn, and then of course that reaction, Marvel then basically downsized her role in the Avengers,
Correct.
just because of that.
Yeah.
And of course, even the repercussions of the review bombing is that this is the Marvels and not Captain Marvel 2, which initially this was just going to be Captain Marvel 2.
It's true.
Yeah,
And they
so
needed to partner her up to kind of, raise her stature in the Marvel community.
Yeah, but I'm thinking I'm fine with it because it does add more character to her, and hopefully she'll, react to her character,
Everyone
the people
around
around her.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Do you think the Marvels coming out, this will be a career saving role for Brie Larson and the franchise of Captain Marvel? Does it have to be at this point?
Yes, but I feel like it might be too early to tell right now.
The
Right.
And
problem,
it's like it's just a teaser trailer, so
It's true.
we still have some time. This movie comes out in November, so
and the issue that you're getting from a lot of viewers is that a lot of people, even though I don't really like the word, but superhero fatigue, Marvel fatigue.
Yeah.
It's like, do you have horror movie fatigue? Do you have comedy fatigue?
Sure.
Yes, you do if you watch too many of them. So I do think it's right that Disney is scaling back on how many they're releasing. But
Yeah.
at the same time, they just got to make a good movie. You make a good, fun movie, everyone's going to go and watch it. And I feel like, a lot of people are already kind of burnt out with what's been coming out from Marvel recently
Yeah.
to where that could really hurt this iteration of Captain Marvel. So,
Well, they're about to get an injection, a shot in the arm, if you will, for the third and final of James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Right.
They just released the final trailer for that, where they showcase some new catchy, fluffy characters that are sure to get rushed to toy shelves everywhere. And it's an emotional ending to a story arc that was, the brainchild of James Gunn. So we got the original band together again. Of course, you remember if the backstory was for a second there, James Gunn was canceled.
Yep.
And then DC's like, we'll take you. And then Marvel's like, wait, no, our bad. We got to take him back. And of course, the cast of Guardians of the Galaxy were like, we're not going to do a third one without him. This is his vision. We're a team and we're all in this together. Early reviews on this have been amazing. What was your thoughts on the trailer that was released just recently?
heartbreaking. I mean, there
Yes.
are certain shots within the trailer that obviously, again, it's kind of clickbaity where they're tugging at your heartstrings because you think certain aspects are going to happen to certain characters.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to,
Just prepare
speculate.
yourself.
Oh, I'm speculating all day. I already know. I mean, I speculate 2 off the top of my head that are donezo.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
In a heartbreaking fashion. So what's the over under? How many times we're going to cry during this movie?
Exactly. And I really do.
So many times.
There's emotional, cues to when it comes to James Gunn. He isn't just, poop and fart jokes. James Gunn has been doing it for quite some time. Super with Rainn Wilson. I mean, that movie's got an incredibly emotional ending to it.
Yes.
And you've got a lot of the cast too from the Guardians of the Galaxy world in that as well. Kevin Bacon, Michael Rooker. So he will hit you again with that 1-2 punch of emotional and excitement. So that is the one where I feel like no matter the hate that's going on right now for Marvel, whatever it may be, James Gunn and the Guardians of the Galaxy have been writing for such a long time with 3 films and a Christmas special, which was amazing.
Yeah.
That I think this is going to be, the icing on the cake for James Gunn, his final legacy at Marvel.
Marvel. And then the rest of it is, can he resurrect and recreate a DC universe that rivals in comparison to Marvel, which only time we could tell. But again, with that phrase you don't like saying, superhero fatigue, it really is just a flood of stuff coming out.
Correct.
But again, the timing is perfect for Marvel. With this, they'll have the return of Loki and they'll have Guardians of the Galaxy. So maybe the tail end or the second half of 2023 is all the bandwagon people back on board, buzzing about all future Marvel projects that are about to drop, right?
Exactly. And like we said last time, when it comes to a lot of the people that are, hating on this stuff online, I feel like, and granted, I don't think they should dictate what happens, but it should be an awakening to Disney and Marvel and all of them to say, hey, let's figure out what is not working for everybody and let's course correct and start putting stuff out that way. You don't have to go specific plot points that people say online, but just understand what people are tired of and let's do something a little bit different.
Yeah. Yeah, it's about that time too. And we'll see. Manny on the stream says the over under for crying about 4.5, 4.5. I think I would exceed that. I think I'm going to be bawling like a little baby opening credits, as soon as I hear the opening song, oh, the last one. Then to me, and this is sacrilegious to some, but to me, Guardians of the Galaxy is my Star Wars universe. It really is my Star Wars, the original trilogy. I just enjoy it better, even though I grew up with Star Wars and the original trilogy. We'll keep the conversation moving with Robert and Vanessa. Their YouTube channel is Late to the Party. And if you subscribe, you're going to be late to the party because 150,000 people beat you to it. But they're fantastic reaction videos on a daily basis. Keeping the conversation moving, youtube.com/bevegan. Join us there. All right. So when did you guys meet? You and Vanessa. How long you been? Are you married, I'm assuming?
No.
We're just
not.
hetero life mates.
Hetero life mates?
Yes.
We've been together for 11 years.
Yeah, it's been
exclusively.
a long time.
Yeah, but
Nice.
we've known each other before that. Funny enough, the first time we ever went out was at a KFMA day.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah. You got a
That was
full
the first
circle
time we
moment.
hung out. Yeah.
100%. So I'm looking at like the posters on your wall for fall ball and all that.
It was
which we hung our hat at.
Sick
these-
Puppies and Depeche Mode.
No. It was it was such a long time. Was a day to remember there? You got it a day to remember.
We've been to a day to remember.
Come on, this is your
Ball.
first hangout 11 years ago.
We've
Let's
been-
find the poster you guys, first started falling for each other with.
We've been to so
It was
many.
2011. So whenever
2011. Okay, we can find that year.
2011.
See, 2009, 2012, Incubus, Caged Elephant, Evil
No,
Nation.
I think it was a fall ball. It wasn't KFMA Day. It was a fall
Well, you've
ball.
got some posters behind the banner.
We were
Not
doing
that
a lot
many.
of we were
Oh,
doing
okay.
a lot of drinking too that day. So
Right. Well, I'm looking at the fall ball from 2004, and the opening band is My Chem.
Oh, yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
I was at that
Social
show.
D was the headliner. Yeah, My Chemical Romance is the opening band. And Chronic Future, if you remember them, they're a
was
band
there.
from Phoenix.
I was there.
Yeah,
Station in Hollow Basics. This world will never face. I got the whole song memorized. I
Nice.
got the whole album memorized.
Right. And
actually.
Social Distortion's about to come back to town, too.
Yeah, Mike Ness and the crew, which is I'm very excited about. Too bad we don't have Chronic Future. See, we have another station, the Cluster does, a new Spanish station that just launched, and to make room in the Zeta library, our song playlist library, they've been going through and just deleting so many songs, which sucks. And I know, and so that Chronic Future I know is probably not in there anymore.
Breaks my heart.
But I would play that in a heartbeat as my single song takeover. You talk about throwback.
Oh yeah.
And those guys, man, where the hell they go? That was
the studio solamente no quiero crónica la futura. I don't know. That's not really Spanish.
No.
I was supposed to say it sounded like real good fake Spanish.
Yeah, if you're looking to host a Spanish morning show,
I'm 100% Mexicano, by the way, too. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah, for you.
50% over here.
Oh, Tim Franco, he's got his tickets for Social D.
He does. Nice. That's our buddy Tim. He's on our channel.
You could have won those for free for me, man. I think. Dang. Did we give those out yet? No, I guess we didn't. All right. Well, that was probably a good call on your part there, Tim. So you're going to be able to see them. I'll say this. If the show's going to sell out, and even if it does sell out, I say still go down to the Rialto Theater. That is my number one spot to go to on sellout shows and still be able to enjoy the show. Whether you kind of creep in through the patio or you just kind of grab drinks at the R bar right there and hear the entire show and you're still kind of there. Just imagine if you're not in and you couldn't get tickets, but you go there, just imagine you're at a festival, because like a large festival, a lot of times you're not seeing the band on the stage anyways. Maybe you're seeing the screen. So, you know, you could just be there and still hear it.
Hang out.
And jam out. Yeah. So.
Tailgate.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people probably did for Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah, Vanessa just saw Taylor Swift. She had banging seats for that one.
I did.
Oh yeah, how close were you?
I was lower bowl before you got to the floor seats, because I didn't want floor seats because I knew I feel like the stage was lifted, so I feel like you probably like people in front of you if they're taller than you, because I'm 5'4", so I'm on the shorter end. And I figured, let me be in the actual stadium so I could actually see her. And yeah, they were great.
Yeah, no, that was a good call. First off, your neck would cramp. You'd be looking straight up, right? But the best seats that you want to get, and we get these from promoters sometimes. So say it's not the pit front and center. First off, the sound's not going to be ideal there either. And then, of course, you're dealing with the elements and everyone crushing around you. The best seats are to the left or the right, about, I would say, about 10 seats from the stage. And then so you're right there on the angle and about 5 rows up. Right. Yeah. So those are kind of like the promoter suite seats. So whenever a major promoter will book a show, say at the TCC or the arena up there, their seats that they get is going to be like that row, the promoter row. So, yeah. So it sounds like it was something similar to that.
Yeah, row 2 is where I was.
Yeah, so you got a little bit of elevation over everyone else, and then you got your spot so nobody could take it if you have to go to the bathroom.
Exactly.
And did you enjoy that show?
I did. Long, right? It was really long. I did enjoy it. I lost my voice, and then I developed a cough over it.
Yeah.
You got the Taylor cough.
It was great. Yeah.
Was it COVID-y?
No.
It's got a new strain then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she was already planning, like, well, if I fly over here and get tickets to
like
this
maybe
show,
I could get the tickets for LA show.
Gonna follow Taylor around the country.
Now, I got to imagine that, the couple that reacts together stays together, right? So did you, was it a mutual love of you were just watching reaction clips and you're like, you know what, we could do this together? Like, how did this come about? Was it like a date idea where you're just like, hey, let's just watch trailers instead of going to a movie?
I mean, initially it started with like loving movies and going to see like movies at the movies, and then like hanging out outside of the movie theater and just talking about the movie. And then eventually we got to the point where he started watching reaction videos first. And then I was just kind of there and I'm like, oh, what are you watching? And then I started to be like, oh, I like this because I like seeing other people's, feelings and reactions to stuff that I feel like I enjoy. So I want to know what they think too.
Right.
So then that's when eventually we ended up like, I think it was more so he went off on a work trip and got a bunch of camera gear. And then we watched a video of people like, this is the kind of cameras that we use. And we're like, oh, well, that's the camera that we have. Maybe we'll just end up using that. And then
it was a perfect storm.
Yeah, it started off
It was a perfect storm. And really, it's 2015. So it was The Force Awakens, really, that was kind of the catalyst. So it was those trailer reactions to The Force Awakens that really ignited us into saying, hey, we could do this, partly because we were having conversations just consistently for long-winded conversations to where we would stop at the end of the conversation and say, man, we should have turned a camera on and just filmed that conversation.
Right.
Now we do.
Yeah.
So, and ever since we've done it.
That's true. So how many reactions you record in a day? It just depends on what's coming out.
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah. For like this week, we had multiple days where we shot 2 reactions during the day. Because they had like Ahsoka dropped on Monday, and then we had
Ahsoka
Star
dropped
Wars
last Friday for Star Wars Celebration, and then we had this weekend. All right, they kind of all blend together because there was like
Jones,
Barbie, Indiana Jones, Visions, Marvel's, the Penguin. Yeah.
What are you personally excited for coming out? You know, like you've been reacting to all these videos. Well, what's the one thing that you're most excited to see once they finally release it?
Barbie.
Vanessa for
Yeah.
Barbie,
And Dune Part 2.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that one I'm excited to.
Yeah,
Right.
Dune 2. Evil. We're gonna go watch Evil Dead Rise this coming Tuesday
Yeah.
up in Phoenix. But I'd say for me, I'm super excited for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Oh,
Mostly because the villain in it is Isai Morales. And if you ever seen La Bamba,
yeah.
he's Bob.
Yes,
Bob. My Richie. And yeah, I love Isai Morales. So seeing him as the villain going up against Ethan Hunt, I'm super stoked.
What a great storied career too. You know, and you wouldn't imagine when La Bamba came out, and I watched that movie probably a million times as well. It's kind of like our age demo, right?
Yeah.
And he's done television and everything. And now he just continues to look better with age. This is one of those guys.
Mhm.
He's just like, you know, him at 60
Sure.
is just. He's getting all the women, you know, as opposed to him as Bob in his 20s,
Exactly.
which he wasn't a bad looking guy then too, obviously, being a Hollywood actor and whatnot.
Yeah, but he looks way better once he lost that. Like, I like the mustache, but once he lost that mustache, man, he was eternal. He never aged.
I know.
Mhm.
Son of a bitch. Get a little jealous about that kind of stuff. We're going to be talking about tips and how to get better tipping here on the air in a couple minutes. But there are other releases happening this weekend. One of them is Nicolas Cage as a vampire.
Mm.
Now, did you guys react to the Renfield trailer?
We did.
Okay. And what did
Yeah.
you think of the trailer? What was the overall takeaway from you guys?
It looks fun.
Funny. Yeah, it looks funny as hell.
Now, there
Yeah.
was a fun fact about Nicolas Cage. He actually had his teeth like filed down just so he could put the incisors in. So he's always a method actor anyways.
Yeah.
He's a maniac. But he went and took a pretty serious dental procedure just so he could get the right teeth to play this vampire. And will it be worth it? We're going to find out after this weekend as far as the box office take is concerned. And a lot of people feel like Nicolas Cage is making a comeback on the mainstream aspect because of the mass extinction of massive talent or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The incredible weight of
There it
massive
is.
talent.
Right.
Yeah.
Which
Such a
I
fun
think the
movie.
consensus of that song or movie was like first half was cool and then it turned into like a movie and everyone lost interest.
Yeah.
I still have yet to see the end of this movie.
Same here. We got about halfway through, and we're a family where unfortunately we have to actually watch movies half at a time.
Sure.
And we didn't even bother to go back and finish half of it. And then
That's
I
a
was like,
bummer.
right, it's such a bummer because there were so many good like memes and TikTok stuff from it, and it just looked like it
Yes.
was gonna be so good. But when we went and saw Cocaine Bear is when we saw the trailer for Renfield, and I didn't know it was coming out and nothing. And I love that story, so I'm excited to see because Nick Cage is gonna lean full on it,
Yes.
Well,
which
he
is
should.
great.
Yes,
Yes.
but I will give you fair warning. The reviews are mixed at best. Okay,
I
so the initial reactions from critics who have seen it, some people love it, some people hate it. Most of them are like, meh. Also in the movie is Aquafina, who plays a traffic cop.
Mm.
So she's fantastic and a good talent. I would still lean towards watching it, but again, go in there and kind of like not expecting too much. And I think maybe you'll be pleasantly surprised. Also, have you seen Cocaine Bear yet?
Yeah, we did a reaction to
Yes.
Cocaine Bear on our channel. So if you want to watch us watch Cocaine Bear and to all the absurdity and craziness, we're actually also going to do a reaction to Renfield. We're
Yes.
abstaining from watching it in the theater because our comment section of the trailer reactions was really hyped for it and said they wanted to watch it with us. So
Nice.
we're going to hold off. And there's certain ones we'll wait, and then there's other ones we'll watch in the theaters. But yeah, Cocaine Bear on our channel, Hereditary on the channel, and then, Renfield when it actually comes out.
I mean, if the bad reviews are true, then you'll be able to react to Renfield at home pretty soon.
Correct.
Here's a couple
That's
of the
true.
bad reviews. Say, whenever Cage leaves the frame, which is often, we immediately stop having fun, as if Dracula commanded us to. So that's a great compliment to Nicolas Cage, right?
Right.
The movie squanders a lot of its potential. It's not all that funny or all that scary, but it is exceedingly violent. So again, there's another complaint that's somewhat a compliment. If you're into movies that are exceedingly violent, and then feel free to expose Renfield to direct sunlight and watch it burn. Oh, that was just rough. Some of the positive, though: Detroit News, New York Times, and Chicago Sun-Times, all very respected review sites and critics, say that it's good. Detroit News says, amusing enough vampire comedy with blood and guts to spare. Renfield is both overstuffed and undercooked, undead but far from alive. Okay. Well, that was part of the good, which kind of seems bad.
Right.
When you throw enough contradictions in a review, you'll leave the person reading it just baffled. So maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. I don't know. Welcome back, Rock 102.1 KFMA, talking about these new releases here that are happening. Of course, Renfield is the big one with Nicolas Cage as a vampire, which a lot of people assume Nicolas Cage is a vampire anyway. So this is just typecasting.
That's true.
Yeah. It's like about time. He's done vampire before.
Yeah.
Once bitten, twice shy, or no, that's a song.
Well, Once Bitten was Jim Carrey as well.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Was Nicolas Cage? Yeah, Nicolas Cage is in that too. Did you know that?
Once Bitten? I believe it.
Well, pull it up. Maybe I'm just confusing him with Jim Carrey.
There was
Vampire's Kiss.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Vampire's Kiss.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then no, I'm not even thinking about that. Jim Carrey in Once Bitten was actually a pretty good vampire.
Yeah. No, but Vampire's Kiss is where there's that Nick Cage meme that where it's got the big crazy eyes and everything. That's where that comes
His
from.
whole life is a meme.
There is that.
Well, a couple of new releases that are happening this weekend. First, you don't have to leave the house for this one. On Peacock, they got the true story of the Cocaine Bear. So, you might have seen the movie Cocaine Bear, but the documentary about Cocaine Bear is actually dropping on Peacock today, which explains everything that happened with the cocaine smuggling and how the bear actually just died.
Right.
When he just absorbed and did all the cocaine. So
right, but the backstory of the drug dealing and that whole complicated mess that came of that.
Right.
So
yeah, it's sensationalized obviously for the film, and it's sad for the bear, but you know, it was fun to see this bear go on just ravage a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, you enjoyed it. If you were to give a review, say a 1 through 10, what would you give Cocaine Bear?
Unfortunately, it'd probably be like a 5.
Yeah, I was gonna say 4.
Yeah,
I think it's more so about the pops and the deaths that happen.
The jump scares.
Yeah.
And
more so, but like the story itself overall, it's like meh.
a lot of walking in that movie, a lot of hiking. I ain't into the hiking, so
I was
maybe
like
for a hiker.
Lord of the Rings meets some kind of cocaine reference meets Scarface, I guess.
Well,
and
there's
then,
also that dinosaur movie with Adam Driver, 65, where he's like going and taking on dinosaurs, and he's like got lasers and stuff. But there's so much walking in that one too. Like there's not much action.
And then that's me because I do trail running and hiking and everything. I'm like,
Sure.
I'm looking up where they filmed it. Like that's where I want to go next. So it was catered to me. It's fine.
Yeah, of course.
all right, other new releases here. I haven't heard much about Mamma Mia, but that stars Toni Collette Mafia Mia. I keep reading it.
I was like, Mamma Mia, they're coming out with a ninth one.
know,
What is happening?
And honestly, that's
again.
the third time I read it like that and had to correct myself in my own head, and then I still read it out loud like that. So Mafia Mama is the name of the song, not Mamma Mia.
Right.
Dyslexia much? So that's coming out, being released to theaters, but I haven't heard anyone talk about that. But Toni Collette's good. But Pope's Exorcist, I have heard a lot about that.
Yes.
Have
Thanks
you
to
guys?
WrestleMania.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say that's where I picked it up from when I went to
Sure.
watch the Edge and Finn Balor match, and then they had Russell Crowe like do the whole Edge.
Yeah.
That was beautiful marketing, by the way.
Is this why you guys are like geeking out about this? Is solely because of the marketing campaign during WrestleMania? Is that how you
Maybe.
know about this?
Maybe.
Because that's money well spent then.
Yeah.
You know, if anything, WWE needs to go back to the studio and be like, you owe us double what you
Right,
paid.
Exactly.
right. Yeah, because otherwise I wouldn't have known about it at all.
And true as well. Did you guys watch the trailer at all? Did you react to this, or was it not in your lane?
Was not it?
We didn't react to it, but we've seen the trailer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've seen the trailer. Same with the Mafia Mia, like Toni Collette in Hereditary. Oh my goodness.
Mhm.
Mafia Mama.
Yeah, what did I say?
Mafia
Yeah,
Mamma
you
Mia.
did what I
Mama-
did, and it's my
Mafia
fault.
Mamma Mia.
I blame myself for that, Robert. Sorry about that.
I'll put it in my brain once I actually watch the movie. But until then, like I'm constantly having to ask Vanessa to, remind me of what things are, and I'm old. I can't remember things anymore.
Oh my God, genius TikTok video. Take the soundtrack of Mamma Mia and splice things from
Mafia Mama.
Mafia Mama
Yeah.
There you go.
and make it look, here we go again.
Yeah. Well,
Vanessa,
this
remember that.
this is the latest Exorcist movie, and what's cool about this story, and I don't know how much of it is true, but there's been many reports that there was somewhat of an exorcism or a haunting on set, and they did feel very spooky about the whole shooting of the Pope's Exorcist. So is that just trying to add to the folklore like the original Exorcist, where they're like, oh, it was haunted here as well? But either way, we'll see if people care.
Just give us
On Monday.
Constantine 2. I want to see Keanu Reeves battle the demons
Yes.
again.
That would
Yeah.
be nice.
Exercise some demons.
Yep. All right, we're going to keep the conversation moving on the podcast broadcast. You can join us youtube.com/beefvegan or keep it here because we'll be back with our beef tip right after this. Clear. All right.
I love beef tip, by the way. I just
thank
love
you.
that you call it that. It's just
Yeah.
so beautiful. It works so well.
I like to give something, a little something on the
Just
way
a
out.
tip.
Yeah, just a tip. They're too used to, a lot of people. And I started doing this. I've been doing this forever, but when I started working with Schmonty, he would just do his final break as, all right, goodbye everyone, and that was it. And I was like, what's the point of that?
Mhm.
Let's leave them
Yeah.
with something.
Yeah, send them a little something.
Yeah, so I would be like, well, let me leave you with this, and then kind of interject it and give some content there. And then Frank across the hall when I was working, it was kind of like the same thing. I'm like, no, you got to give something on the way out.
Right.
So yeah, I have a beef tip. It's going to be the 4 things you should do if you're if you've been putting off a task. So it's actually a genuine thing. Sometimes I'll throw a
taxes.
joke in there. Well, taxes did get delayed or pushed back. So now it's not April 15th. That's the deadline. It's April 18th.
Yeah.
Don't
Mhm.
say that.
Yeah, no, that's good.
All
Well, yeah,
Um,
it's
I'm done on
because
the
yeah,
17th.
anytime it falls on the 15th falls on a weekend, they do the following Monday.
Yeah. But it won't be the following Monday because Monday in DC is Emancipation Day, I believe. And so that's why they put it to the 18th,
Got it.
which is a Tuesday. I know that for sure because 420 is on a Thursday. That's how I do all
It's
my
all
calendar
the
work. Like,
references.
Right.
yeah. I know that May 5th is actually on a Friday because it's 17 days away from 420. No,
Or because aren't we? No, we're
don't
not
fact check that.
we're
We
not
are
do-
doing May 5th. Yeah.
Are we?
Yeah, we're
Oh.
doing a Cinco de Mayo Tappy Hour
That's right.
at Catalina Brewing on. It's the Catalina Brewing, on Ina.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, streamers, we want y'all full effect for that one. That's gonna be a good time.
It's right in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yes,
see, it's
come
right
by.
neck of the woods. So that's what
It
I'm
is,
stoked
yeah.
about too. I don't live in that area anymore. I live in Midtown, but I did live down the street from it. I do like that area a lot. And the fact that we're doing it on Cinco de Mayo, kicking off the Cinco de Mayo, and they're gonna have a bunch of food and bands, and their setup is really cool. Have you ever
Nice.
been there? It's pretty big, so very comfortable. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. What I was gonna do, which we didn't get to because I actually wasn't gonna do this on. I didn't need to do this on the air anyways because we really wanted this podcast to be talking about the new releases, and we normally do that Friday with our film critic Herb Stratford, who's out doing some kind of film critic adventure, and I think in California somewhere, some wine tasting thing.
He's
Um,
so fancy and bougie.
Yeah. So he's doing some bougie shit, which is good. But that was like, that's why I reached out to Robert and Vanessa. I was like, this will be perfect because we want to talk about movies and releases and trailers and all that stuff.
Not being bougie in wine country.
Catalina wine mixer.
He probably hated Mario.
I can pull up.
Oh no, he just hates all children's movies.
Okay, well,
Like he won't give them. He doesn't even really review them. He's just like, meh. He'll like read other reviews and touch base on it, and I'm just like,
well, we're
really?
big children, so if you like children's movies, come to us.
yeah.
Right. Well, there was a cartoon movie that I wanted to see. I can't think of it right now. Oh no, Super Mario. I still haven't seen that. And you love Super Mario?
It's fun.
It's
it was
fun.
fun. It's simple. Like it's not Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph is like leagues ahead of this movie.
Yeah, but that's Pixar, right? No, it's not Pixar.
It's Disney.
It's
Disney. Yeah.
Yeah, Disney animated.
Right.
But Mario's way better than Wreck-It Ralph 2. So there's wins and losses.
Well, I mean, with Wreck-It Ralph, like it's taking all pop culture and all internet culture and all the video games. Where Nintendo, especially with Super Mario Brothers, like they're staying very much in that world.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're not making any references. But yeah, Jack Black singing that. Jack Black.
Oh, I talked about that he was going to be nominated for an Oscar for this.
Mhm.
That's what they're talking about now. I actually shared that story on my Instagram stories, being like, called it. And actually, this is why I shouldn't like post things when I'm stoned, because I regret it. Like as soon as I'm not stoned, I'm like, that's kind of douchey. I did the hashtag Beastradamus, like again, super high, my bad. But
Did you hashtag Babuski?
I did not hashtag because first off, nobody's searching Beastradamus either. So I don't know. I mean, it's the same argument I'm trying to tell Powers about all his hashtags. Like, that's not how hashtags work, right?
Mhm.
You want to do what people are actually searching. So your own little catchphrase that nobody gives a shit about, nobody's searching. So there's no reason to hashtag it. But I'm like, yeah, that's a hashtag beef tip, hashtag Beastradamus, hashtag whatever. All right, we're back on the air. Rock 102.1 KFMA. We're almost out of time. I do want to give you a beef tip. There was a story I didn't get to. I guess we'll cover on Monday. Just bartender gives you advice on how to get guaranteed service, which I could utilize or use as a beef tip. Essentially, this is how it breaks down. When you don't tip, the bartenders will tell the other bartenders you don't tip, so they won't go to you. So if you're going to a bar and you're using a bartender, you have to tip. But here's how it breaks down. If you tip 10%, they'll come to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you tip 20% or more, they'll make sure they'll come to you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you tip 50%, they'll knock anyone over who's in front of you to make sure that you get served. So, I mean, it doesn't surprise anybody.
Show up at your door, knock on the door, be like, do you need anything else?
Yeah.
Good to
Yeah, pretty
know.
much. Yeah. So it's all about tipping. And if you tip badly once, my beef tip to you is make sure that's the last tip, not the first tip. Okay. So if you want good service, you tip strong at the very front end part of it to make sure you continue to get service. And then on the way out, when you realize that you spent way too much money, then you can go for the 10% or less. But you still don't want to be a dick. Tip as much as you can if you're going out and have someone serve on you. And then here's your actual beef tip as well. 4 things you should do if you've been putting them off, okay? Because procrastination is a sign of intelligence, but it can also make sure that you don't get anything done. So here's some tips to get past it. Write down simple things you can accomplish in a few minutes, all right? Do the smallest step first. Try the Pomodoro technique, which involves working on it for 25 uninterrupted minutes, followed by a 5-minute break. So those are your tips to do so. So write it down, do the smallest thing first, and then try that Pomodoro technique, which is working on it for 25 minutes, followed by a 5-minute break, then work on it again.
Or
right?
just put your phone down.
Oh, yeah. Put your phone down.
Put your phone down. Don't have streaming on. Like, just focus.
That's why it takes us so long to edit videos. Yeah, lo-fi helps a lot.
I put lo-fi on. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah,
nice.
anytime I'm editing anything and I'm like, oh, notification. And then I'm like, 2 hours later, nothing's done.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Robert, Vanessa, thank you guys for coming into the studio very first time. It will not be the last time.
Awesome.
Late to the Party is the channel on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to them for the best reaction content on the internet. We're out of here. We'll be back on Monday morning with more tickets to give away and a lot of fun to have with you. Till then, enjoy the rest of your day. Drive safe, ride safe, and as always, rock local. Later.
Soon will come an end to all your grief.
What?
But if you
all right, thanks, guys. Thanks for watching the show.
I've been naughty.
I will knock out all your
10 a.m. comes so fast, huh?
It really does. Later, y'all.